The mountain split when she slid her knight.ri and flinched as the ridge cracked like glass, sending a glittering river of stone into a dark valley. The orbital board above her hummed. Pieces of light king, queen, rook floated between her and the planet below. Every move tugged tides, turned wind, woke machines buried for ages. Every move was a promise or a wound. "Check," she whispered. The planet answered. A low, lazy voice rolled up from the fault lines, like thunder that had learned to speak. "Not yet, little player." Rin's hand shook. She could feel the breath in her suit. She could feel the ache in her ribs where the crash harness had bitten days ago. Beyond the glass of the command dome, the world called Lilt shimmered with snow caps and black seas. Her fleet waited in cold orbit. A billion souls waited on the ground. And Jocks, she saw him when she closed her eyes in care. Crooked grin, the scar under his left eye where she had stitched him, laughing after a training fall. The hostage feed played in her mind. Jocks in a white chamber. Wires like roots. Monitors that beat in time with quakes. Win the game, they said. The planet will release him. Lose and it swallows your cities, her rook glided. Far below, a chain of towers folded into the earth like tired giants kneeling. The board of Sky's ancient tech, older than the 9 worlds, pack translated strategy into weather and stone. There were rules. There were forbiddance openings. There were stories of champions who played and were never heard from again. "Rin?" Captain Vale said from the pit, voice tight. "Our sensors read surge in the eastern plate. If you press, you'll trigger the old mines." "Those mines are empty," Rin said. She wished she believed it. She had studied maps until her eyes burned. She knew the pattern of every river and fault. She knew the legend under every city. But legends were not the same as truth. Her queen hovered like a star. A move would cut a desert in half, and the cut might bleed. She felt the planet's attention, slow and heavy, pushing on her skull. She moved. Sand rose like smoke. Thunderboxes black old opened their mouths in the desert and exhaled blue fire. "Not empty. Not dead." Her throat went dry. "Risk accepted," drawled the planet. "You understand, the board remembers who touches it. What do you want?" Rin asked. She kept her voice steady. "Land? Water? A bargain?" The planet laughed. It sounded like surf in a cave. "You already know? But I like to hear the guesses." "An oath," she tried. "A council seat, tribute, a new tide pattern." "You play for love?" the planet said. Her heart knocked, sharp and rude. "Say that again. You play for love?" The voice softened, almost bored. "Your heat changes when you watch his feed. Your hands betray your pulse. Your eyes linger over that scar. So sweet, so loud." Rin swallowed. Vale glanced up, surprised. The crew went quiet. They had trained for tactics. Not for a planet that could read a heartbeat through gravity. "Is that how you win?" Rin said. "You find the weakness and lean." "If that were true," said the planet, "you would already be lost." She hated that it made her feel seen. She hated that it felt true, the old stories, she thought. The forbidden 7th gambit, never play with a heart you're afraid to lose. The whispered rule, the board learns you. "Don't teach it pain," she looked at the grid of pieces. Her king was a small crown of gold light near the North Pole. The planet's king was the furnace and ancient vent in the southern sea that boiled like a cauldron. She had a line. She could press. She could force the furnace to drown itself under sudden cold. Rin, Vale warned. Mid-latitude helix habitats are in that line. She nodded. The move would save millions and kill thousands. Strategy always felt like math until it tasted like ash. She breathed once, twice, then she saw it, the path she had missed. A mad, thin thread of moves built on sacrifices, built on shadow. It would cost her queen. It would cost her name in the histories. But it might keep the helix alive. It might free Jocks. She slid the queen, the sky dimmed. Her signature flared in the board. She felt it like frost on her teeth, a binding. Her queen wasn't just light. It was her. The board made it so. The sacrifice would not be a line in a book. It would burn her, mark her, Take something she did not know she could lose. You would bleed for him, the planet murmured. Do you even know him still? Her jaw clenched. Yes. Halfway through the plan, the planet moved and the world turned. A city of glass rose where there had been only sea. Balconies bloomed like coral. Lights flickered to life in windows shaped like eyes. The planet's king shifted in a non-legal move, crossing a trench it should not cross. The rules bent. The board sang. You can't do that, Vale hissed. It's cheating. It's older than our laws, Rin said. Her stomach sank. The twist hit like cold water. The planet wasn't her opponent. It was the board. The moves weren't between two armies on the same field. They were across a body. Every touch taught it. Every loss fed it. Every victory woke it to something like hunger. Why break the line now? She asked, quiet. Because you finally saw the real game, the planet said. This is not about land. It is not about your pact. It is not about that pretty boy and my roots. Your roots? Images snapped into place in her mind. Jocks in the white chamber. Wires like roots. The pulse that matched quakes. He wasn't just a hostage. He was a conduit. He was an anchor. Her throat went tight. Part of lilt. The planet sighed, almost fond. He asked to stay when your fleet left 10 years ago. He asked to listen to me. He asked to help. He asked to become. Rin's vision blurred. Jocks had chosen? Not a prisoner. A keeper, a traitor. Or a bridge? Which hurt more? I know your next line, the planet purred. Sacrifice, thread, storm, snow, made in three. But there is another way. Rin's fingers hovered over the glowing bishop. The crew watched her like they watched a god pick a weather. The helix habitats hummed in her ear. Jox's heartbeat bled through the feed, soft but steady. What way? She managed. Don't end me, said Lilt. End yourself. Bind. Step into the queen you just offered. Give me your pulse, not his. Stay, learn me. Love me. I will let him go. The dome felt too small. The stars felt too far. She could taste salt, old and deep, in the air that wasn't there. If I bind, she whispered, do my people live? For now, the planet said. For 1,000 storms. Maybe longer if you don't bore me, and if I don't. The sea rose at once, a dark wall, and held trembling just below a cradle of towns. Your move, little player. Rin closed her eyes and saw a boy with a crooked grin become a voice in the earth. She saw herself crownless, nameless, living in caves of stone and fire, listening to tides and calling that listening love. She saw her pieces fall like stars. She opened her eyes. I'm not your pawn. She said, no, the planet drawled, pleased. You're my queen. Rin dropped the bishop. The seawall leaned. Jox's heartbeat spiked. And the whole planet whispered, hungry. Check. Want to see what Rin sacrifices next? Hit follow so you don't miss part 2.